Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Holy cow, we're here at 2018. Awesome stuff. I love the new year because it always feels like a fresh start. It's like I can hit the reset button on anything, although we really can hit the reset button on anything at any time anyways. But I find New Year's one of those places where it feels good to hit the reset button. And I also feel like September is another really good one to hit the reset. So maybe it has to do with a throwback of, school and feeling like those were two great places for fresh starts. So today I want to talk about spa business and structure and fluidity, because one of the biggest places I'm seeing spa owners falter is because they don't have any structure in their business. We're in an industry that it's been the blind leading the blind for decades and decades and decades. You're not taught in school. At school, you're encouraged to, you can start your own business. Awesome. But what they give you as far as education, as far as getting started with the business, really isn't much. So all estheticians who turn into spa owners end up trying to figure this stuff out on their own. And when we're figuring out stuff on our own, we're winging it. And it typically feels kind of chaotic. You feel like a hot mess. You feel like you don't have enough time to do your admin work or to figure out business stuff, do your marketing, and then as well as being with clients, whether you're a solo or whether you have a team. So where I see a lot of spa businesses breaking down is the simple fact that they don't have any systems in place, any structure in place. And they're just kind of like going along and they're repeating some of the stuff, some of the systems and structures loosely from their previous employer. And then they're also on social media. Of course, there's lots of great resources, great Facebook groups for spa owners. But the problem is when you're following some of the information and the advice coming from there, you don't know if it is actually great advice or not. So it's a little bit of a crapshoot when you take information and try to make it your own, because you kind of don't know exactly how this is all supposed to fit together. So when you, as a spa business owner, if you're just feeling like I'm not getting repeatable outcomes, whether it's for you're not getting repeatable sales in order to be covering your business cost, if you're not getting enough sales to be able to give yourself a paycheck, never mind your staff. I know that's a huge sore point for a lot of the micro businesses, small businesses, spa businesses, is that their employees get paid more than they do. So if you're not seeing repeatable outcomes from your marketing, from the finances, from your cash flow, from your staffing, with the guest experience, if you're not getting new clients coming in all the time, then you know that you have an issue with structure in your business. You don't have systems set up well enough in order to kind of create those repeatable results. So here's usually how it goes. So usually the lifetime of a spa owner starts off with they're doing their own thing, they start their own business, and it's a super exciting time when you're starting your business. And the last thing you feel like you need is, you want to take bits and pieces of information, but you've got this idea and you've got these visions for what you see your business as. So you just head on gung-ho, get started, and start up. But what everybody finds out in their first year of business is that it's after you kind of hang your shingle, open your door, that's really when the tough stuff starts. That's when you're realizing, okay, just because I'm open for business doesn't mean that I'm going to have new clients banging down on my door. Just because I've left a spa in my area and opened up my own doesn't mean that your clients are going to come with you. So all of a sudden you find that you're struggling to grow this business. And many spa owners go years and years and years with this struggle, with the struggle of winging it on their own and trying to figure it out. Now, what every business needs to know, and they kind of get to that place of knowing this when they reach that critical point in that cycle. Actually, I wrote a blog post on it quite a few years ago called The Transition Curve, and it was from a book that I read. I can't remember what it was called, but I'll put the book in the comments after I'm done here. But it was talking about how there's this natural flow of of business owners, of entrepreneurs, and that, you know, when we're getting started, we kind of reach that peak. It's really exciting. It feels really great. But then we kind of tip over the peak. Things are not as easy as we thought it was going to be. And we hit this kind of critical point of, oh my God, what have I done? So it's at that point where I notice that that's where I meet a lot of spa owners in my coaching practice, is when they're like, oh, I thought that I could do this on my own, but I know I can't. And I'm ready to literally give up, close my doors, and just walk away from this because I don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed. So where I'm going with this is that every new business, at some point, you have to create structure and systems in your business. One of the best books I've ever read to kind of get your brain thinking about how this actually works is The E-Myth. So if you have not read that yet, go to Amazon, order it, because you absolutely need to read it, and it will give you major aha moments of why things are not working in your business. So yes, you need structure, you need systems for, and you need structure for pricing, you need structure for policies, you need structure for cash flow, for marketing, for staffing, for the guest experience. All those need to be systematized in order to make it easier for yourself. Otherwise, you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you're not getting the repeatable results that you want. Okay, so as a spa owner, you've started your business, it's super exciting, and then you reach that point where you're like, oh crap, this isn't working, I don't know what to do. Then the next step is to implement systems and structure. Once you get a handle on the systems and structure of your business, and kind of getting into that pattern of that system and seeing how they work and doing a little bit of course correct, or like a little bit tweaking along the way to make it work for you. However, I do find that a lot of owners start feeling like if they're too rigid in their systems and structures, there does get to a point where they're like, I want and I need some fluidity to this business. I need to open up some space for myself because it feels too structured. If my quarterly plan feels too rigid, the action steps feel too rigid, because let's face it, this industry is primarily women. A lot of us have families. A lot of us have other obligations outside the business. And so that traditional, how would I put that? That traditional kind of hustle of putting together strategy, putting together an implementation plan with all those action steps, and then systematically following through with them. Those are great, but we also need a little bit of wiggle room in there to allow ourselves to adjust, because stuff comes up in our lives. Maybe you have this planned for 2018. It's you've got it totally mapped out. It's very organized. You're like, yes, I am like, I'm going to do this for 2018. I'm going to get organized. I'm going to put my business in structure. But then you start finding yourself, there's times where you feel really tired and you need a break and you need some rest. And if you're so rigid in your strategy and your implementation plans, sometimes you don't give yourself enough room to give yourself a break. When we don't give ourselves a little bit of a break, our creativity shuts off, our flow shuts off, and all of a sudden we're just feel really stuck. We can't come up with any great marketing ideas. It's difficult to come up with solutions with staff. You just feel like frustrated. So the moral of my story here is, yes, absolutely, if you are a spa business that doesn't have structure or systems, maybe you have some goals for 2018 that you want to hit, but you're like, oh, I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out as I go along. That's okay too, to a point, but I think you also know your habit, and I also think that you know kind of where that habit goes. Usually it means that you hit everything with gusto for a couple months and then you kind of fall off the bandwagon, right? So the reason why I'm talking about this is partially because we're getting started with the Spa Business Labs on January 15th again. And in the Spa Business Labs for the past year, I have been teaching my coaching clients how to use a creating strategy and an implementation plan following from the book, The 12-Week Year. I love that book. I love the structure of how to create goals and action steps. But this year, what I've also discovered is that we need to allow a little bit of fluidity into our structure. But we also need to be very aware, and that's what leadership is about, awareness. We need to be very aware that if we already haven't set up a system in our business, a structure in our business for all of those things that we need, like our policy structure, our pricing, our guest experience, our staffing, our cash flow, if we haven't set those up yet, then it's way too easy to slip off, and next thing you know, you're not just winging it, you're like a hot mess, okay? So what I want you to hear today is that you do absolutely need systems and structure first. Learn those habits for within your business and for creating goals and creating action steps and an implementation plan. Have structure for those things because they'll heal your bad habits of what you've been doing before, which it's been difficult kind of getting places. Once you know how to create structure and systems in your business, then you can kind of ease up the grip on being super organized to allow a little bit more fluidity, to allow for those times where you do need a little bit of a rest, so that you're not thinking you're going to rest, and then what ends up happening is that you actually do a full stop rather than a pause. So I talked about full stops and pauses in a Facebook Live in December. So if you want a little bit more information on that, you can just go back to those recordings. So the Spa Business Lab this time in January, starting in January, I'm going to be teaching our labbies how to, for sure, create this system and structure for their goal setting and their action steps. But I'm also going to be teaching how to open up a little bit to allow some fluidity into your business, but not to let it sabotage you, because that's the piece that can really get people. All right. The other thing that I'm going to be doing new this session for the labs is I am going to be doing a monthly leadership meditation. So I just kind of felt called that, especially with leadership, there's some inner work that we need to do. And it's not all, it's not all textbook stuff. And what I also know as women is that, and men, we have an ability to tap into our intuition to use that for our business. But if we don't have the skills, if we don't know how to tap into that intuition, sometimes we just can't access that information, or we can't hear it. So I'm going to be adding short monthly meditations to our Spa Business Lab to help facilitate the leadership growth within you. So I've got 2 spots left in the lab. We're almost full. We've got a Monday group, but that's completely full at 10 a.m. And then we have a Tuesday group at 10 a.m. and we've got 2 spots left in there. So it's 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for wherever you are in the world. And if that's something, if you're feeling like you need some support and structure to kickstart things in your business, this is definitely an opportunity you want to take a look at. So the information is in the link in the description. You can just click on the link in there and it'll just give you all the details. Basically, it's a group coaching program. We're going to be working together from January 15th until May 14th. We meet every 2 weeks and it's intended to help keep you on track and accountable for your goals in 2018, the first quarter of 2018 anyways. All right, that is it for my Spa Business Break today. It's all about discerning, making sure that you know how to structure your business and that you have structured your business before you let the creep of winging it come in and wreak havoc. Because there's definitely a difference between winging it and pausing to be able to listen to your intuition, what it's telling you for creative purposes, for new ideas for marketing, new concepts for staffing, new niches that you want to go into, all of that stuff. If you guys want to be innovative, you got to listen to your intuition, because Otherwise, everybody's just looking at what everybody else is doing and not coming up with anything new and innovative. So our industry needs innovation for sure. So yeah, if you take a look at the Spa Business Labs and it looks like it's going to be a good fit for you, then send me a personal message and we'll get you started with the onboarding process. If you're like, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm in town for today and tomorrow. I'm available to have like a quick 15-minute chat if you'd like to do that. On Saturday, I leave for a quick vacation for a little reboot, physical and mental reboot and some warmth. Oh man, I hope you guys on the East Coast are staying warm because it looks like it's freezing. You're covered in snow. So I'm on a quick vacation for next week, but I will have limited email if you want to connect with me. So yeah, that's it for me. Fluidity and structure, you got to know the difference between the two so you don't get stuck down the rabbit hole. All right, thanks. See you guys later. Bye.